Well, we are here. The first ever episode of Media Shift. The first ever. I don't think you
It's
even knew
I didn't know it was the first one.
you're the first guest. Yeah, I was
My
like, we
God.
got to have Wesley on for this. This is the only person
Well,
that will work.
I'm honored. Thank you.
No, I'm excited to have you on. So, on this podcast, we really want to talk about how local media is changing, why it's
Mm-hmm.
important. So, I thought like we should probably bring a 5-time Emmy winner on to really kick it off and make sure that, we got some credibility on the podcast. So,
Oh,
appreciate you being here. This is great.
that's sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, it's weird to think that I've actually been in this business for 13 years now because I still feel so young, but it has changed a lot. So I guess I do have some insight. I wouldn't originally think I did, but I think I do.
I think sometimes when you're just like in the weeds so much in a certain world, you forget what everybody else doesn't know.
True. And
And
and I will say like local news and even just like the news media business in general, I think is still a really big secret to a lot of people. A lot of people think they know how it works and everything going on behind the scenes, but they
yeah,
really don't
it's like
unless you're
real
in it.
world in the 90s. Like you think you know, but you have no
But you have no
idea. You
idea.
have no idea is right. So we met a couple weeks ago. You visited Salem, which we always appreciate having you in Salem. Well, I guess first at KTU, you've been there for 10 years. You
Hmm.
have a new program, ARC,
Hmm.
where you're
Yep.
visiting communities and kind of spotlighting different parts of Oregon, which I think is great because Portland just sucks up so much of the
I
attention. So
know.
anytime somebody's out like sharing other stories, I think it's a big deal. So I appreciate that you and your team are working hard to do that.
They
But yeah, so we met there. I was like, this person has great energy, love what she's doing, great experience. So like, tell me about ARC first. Let's start there. Like, what's really the focus of this
Yeah.
program?
So ARC is authentic, relevant community. And they really wanted it. It's like a new way to tell the news that's hyper local. So we really like the whole show. It's a 2 hour show from 7 to 9 on our other channel, KUNP. And you can get that in different ways. But if you just go to katu.com, you'll be able to watch it live on our website like you would watch K2. And it's just more casual, I think. We really we look at like what people are talking about online, so we call them hot topics. So really whatever it is, whatever story we have on our website or social media that's blowing up or trending or everyone's talking about, we really just dive deeper into that. And then we actually, which is unique for me as a news person, usually we're just, you just say the facts, you just say it as it is, you read a script, we move on. And our news show is really like quick, but the ARC show, we like go into a hot topic, really dive deep, and then we discuss it. So like the camera comes out to us, me and whoever my co-host is for the day, and then we talk about it. And obviously, we're still unbiased. We still try to not insert our opinion too much, but we do bring, like experience from our own lives. We were like we talk about the which would be very boring, and it can be very boring, but the transportation bill that they're still trying to pass
Yeah.
in this special Senate right now. We've been talking about that forever, but we can come out and be like, hey, look, like I live here too. I'm gonna have to pay these fees and taxes. I pay my registration just like all of you.
Yeah.
This impacts me just like it does all of you. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about everything going on as real people who live here. So I think that's really valuable. And then the Arc on the Road stuff, I think that's what I'm really excited about now. I'm like focusing all my energy on that because we've gotten such good feedback. So it's good to hear that you really liked that we came out to Salem, but like we did Astoria, Washougal, Hillsboro. We just did Gresham last week. I'll be in Mount Angel this week. So like it's just cool. And like the feedback we've gotten is that it's really valuable and people are really happy that we're doing it. So that's
Absolutely.
great to feel.
There is just this huge gap in community stories being shared because you think of like the amount of resources that used to be involved, like at a local newspaper.
Oh my God.
So I recently
Mhm.
did this video about a new storage facility that's moving in, Statesman Storage, and it's moving into a building that used to house the Statesman Journal, which was our
Um,
local paper. And it's just
yeah.
this massive building, and like I was just in there thinking about like, man, there used to be so many people in here, like working together, and so much information about the community being shared. And now we just don't have that. Like the Statesman Journal still exists, but I think they're down to like 14 or 15 people on the team. We have Salem Reporter, it's like 5 or 6 people, and then like there's a few people like me who's just like a guy or girl with a cell phone that's out there like running around like talking about their city. But it's just like there's the resources available to do this are just so much smaller than they used to be, and it requires everybody just being like more efficient, more scrappy with
Yeah.
how we're doing it. I'm curious to hear the business. Oh, go for it.
Yeah, I'll just say it's devastating. I mean, to be honest, as someone like as a journalist in TV news, like we look up to paper reporters. Like print journalism is the pinnacle. I mean, they are the ones who really can follow a beat. They are on a topic. They know everything about it. So they know like when something's amiss or when there's something that maybe no you're not paying attention to, but they
Yeah.
will find it and they'll dig into it and they'll investigate it. In TV, our turnaround is so fast. I mean, we're pitching a story 1 hour and then you're turning it that day and it's on the news that night. Print journalism is really so vital and important. And so it's devastating that it's going away. I mean, it really is. And we are seeing that too in TV. Like, yeah, we're losing full on newspapers and buildings are empty like that. We do still have TV stations. Those are still going on and they're fine, but we've
Hmm.
definitely have less staff than we did when I started.
Yes, we. So you're talking about the print portion of it. We have
Yeah.
an organization in town, the Salem Reporter, who always does a great job of like digging into stories, and they make people mad all the time, which I think is part of effective journalism. Like
Mhm.
you can't be out there making friends, and I think that's probably one of my opportunities. Is I genuinely want people to like me, and I focus on like only the positive things, so it's not
Mhm.
the entire story of Salem, or I try to at
Mhm.
least. But
Yeah.
we need these people in our community who are going to be holding people
Yeah.
accountable and not afraid to shine a light where other people aren't looking.
And not afraid to ask the tough questions.
Yes.
Because like you, like yeah, I've honestly all my life I'm an extrovert. I love people. I'm a people pleaser. My first job at K2 was the feature reporter. So I was lucky where I didn't even have to really touch anything too serious. I just got to
Yeah.
highlight all the positives and
Yeah.
the good things. But over the years that changed. I mean, COVID changed a lot of stuff. I moved definitely more into hard news and breaking news reporting. And so I've had to learn how to be a little bit tougher and you can deliver it still in a way and know these people and be friends with them or be acquaintances and still be able to like get down to it and be like but really like
Absolutely.
I need to hold you accountable on this. So it is difficult though. I'm kind of there with you where it's a skill that I'm still getting used to.
Yes, I'm trying to get better at it because especially on the podcast, I'll get a lot of feedback. I do like a local Salem podcast as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And I would get a lot of feedback like you're too nice to everybody. Like you need to like ask more questions. So I definitely have been trying to be more critical and I've gotten some
Mhm.
good feedback since I've made that shift. But it is challenging. I'm same as you. Like let's just like kumbaya and like smile and laugh and have fun.
Yeah.
And that's not always going to be the approach you need to. That's rarely the approach you need to take as a journalism. It's probably a better way to
Yeah,
say
well, and
it.
it's, if you really are gonna uphold journalism and be a journalist, then yeah, we can't be smiley and happy and just talk about all the good things all the time. Like
Absolutely.
we got to talk about what's wrong.
For sure. I barely call myself a journalist. I think I feel like I'm more of like a media personality. I guess maybe like a local media personality, but there are like little
It
bits
is
of like journalism sprinkled on top a little bit.
it is funny you said that because I mean, according to like a lot of people right now, you can call yourself a journalist. So we do. This is probably getting into kind of how we adjust to the times and how we grow and learn. We do have consultants, and we have a group of people who will do research and surveys, and they'll talk to viewers across the country and they will ask them like what do you want from your local news, what do you want from your journalists, your reporters, what do you not like, what like turns you off, what makes you not trust, what makes you trust. So we actually get all of this feedback back, and one of the questions recently was about just like how there's so much information and citizen journalists out there like TikTok. So many people, especially Gen Z, are
Yeah.
getting their news from TikTok. So can you call a person who has been covering a story for months on TikTok but doesn't have a journalism degree? Can you call them a journalist? It was really interesting to hear the people's answers, and a lot of people were saying, "Well, I mean, if they are telling the truth, they're doing the digging, they are researching legit sources. They tell me what those sources are and where they got their info, and now they're just presenting all this fact to me. then sure, why can't they be a journalist? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a degree anymore, which kind of sucks for someone like me who went to journalism school and did all
Yeah.
that and is paying
Yeah.
those student loans right now to
Yeah.
be a journalist.
Yeah.
But to be honest, like that definition has changed for sure.
The internet just changed like all the rules because it's
Everything.
just like whoever can get attention wins. It doesn't really matter if you have a degree or like what your experience is. Like if you can just figure out like, how to capture people's attention, like you'll be the leader in your industry, whether you're
Or,
creating a brand or you're delivering news, whatever it might be.
and that's what's kind of scary too, because it's just random people out there, right? So, like, sure, you may trust me more because I learned about law, ethics, and I learned about court cases where journalists did things they weren't supposed to, so I know what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to
Mm-hmm.
do. I know about, I spent years studying it, but like, what's not to say somebody else could do that too? Or
Yeah.
like, can you trust? Like, do you really know that that person on TikTok is really telling you the truth, or do they have an agenda? And they're trying to, tell you
Yeah.
something that's wrong.
It is. That's why I get so many people in my comments that like assume my agenda based on one video. So if I'll do an interview with like County Commissioner Daniel Bethel, who's absolutely a conservative, I'll get
Hmm.
like people who are more liberal just like screaming at me in my comments, like I didn't know this was a conservative news source. But then I have like Andrea Salinas on, I get the exact opposite response. And so I'm kind of like I'm just like if Salem's part of what your responsibility is, like I want you to have a voice here.
Yes.
But yeah, there definitely
I'm
is a
sorry.
piece of like
So those comments are not okay. Like, yeah, like just because you talk, like we need to be talking to those are our representatives. Like, who
yeah.
cares what side of the aisle they're on? You got to talk to everybody. Sorry, just had to say goodbye to a friend. I love you. Bye, Jamie.
Shout out Jamie. Shout out Jamie. We love Jamie.
We love Jamie.
For
She's podcast famous now.
I love it. You made it, Jamie. That's so fun. Where were we? Oh,
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
you're good. You're good. So, I'm curious about the business side of a
Yeah.
program called ARC. Underneath,
Hmm.
like you're part of a system.
Yeah.
So, do you generally like find a sponsor to fund something, or do you get it
Hmm.
started and then like the sponsorship kind of comes after the ball is rolling and there's some momentum?
So I might not know enough about that
Okay.
because we have and I think they do this on purpose, right? We have our news department. So we have
Yeah.
K2. The news department is one department with its own news director, and then the sales department is its own department
Hmm.
upstairs in the building with like its own director.
Yeah.
So they try to keep it separate. So I'm actually not sure how that works. I don't know if someone is like a sponsor of ARC or they just like they buy the advertising space in the commercials
Because
and
you're not
that's
like
like
saying ARC
there's
sponsored by as part of
no.
you're just
No, because
running the
this
end of the
is
commercials. Yeah.
yeah, and because this is still a news program.
Yeah.
So we have lifestyle programs on K2. We have Afternoon Live and AM Northwest,
Yep.
and those are like sponsored. They're kind of like pay to play kind of thing.
Yep.
You pay to get on that program, and that's what that is. But if it's a news program, like what ARC is, there can't be any of that because it can't be. And if it is, like if there is a segment, so we will have sometimes a segment that is sponsored, let's say by the RV show or something.
Hmm.
We have to run a billboard before it that says this next segment is sponsored by blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then and at the end of the show we also have to put up in like our copyrights, you have to say sponsored by, and
Yeah.
list anybody who sponsored the show. But as far as I know for ARC, at least at this point, and it's still pretty new,
Yeah.
we don't have like a
Title
sponsor of
sponsor.
ARC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think it'll be interesting for people who are like myself, who are just like on Instagram or TikTok and like talking about their communities. Like me, I went to journalism school as well, so that's like
Mhm.
part of my
Mhm.
background. I studied journalism at the University of Oregon.
Mhm.
I was
Go
like,
Ducks.
right, exactly.
I'm
I was
obsessed.
the sports page editor for a
Awesome.
community college, and then I transferred to U of O, and I actually shifted into advertising, but it was still underneath the journalism program. But I'm
Mhm.
like familiar with a lot of the conversations around ethics and like
Yeah.
sales is one department, the news is the other department, and you never communicate with each other. I guess just almost like a recommended against having conversations. Like you just don't know the people in the sales department generally, because you don't want there to be like them to persuade the journalism side, like what to write about or how to write about something, right?
Exactly,
But
exactly.
for people like us, who is just like one person with their cell phone, like I'm doing sales and I'm making the content, and like my
Yeah.
goal is for you not to know when, like it shouldn't, like I to do like the advertising label, so like it'll say that on Instagrams, like it's
Hmm.
labeled clearly, but the content itself feels the same because I don't want it to be an interruption for people who are consuming my content. Like I want
Yeah.
it to feel organic, just like anything else would.
Yeah, and that's smart, and you should do that. And I think that's good to let people know too, because even if somebody is sponsoring your program, it doesn't mean that they're telling you what to say, or you're not going to change what you say in this program because the jacuzzi store is like sponsoring it. You're not going
For
to go
sure.
start like talking about jacuzzis a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
exactly, like just because you're getting sponsored or paid, like you need to get paid for the time and effort that and the money that you are throwing into this. And
Yeah.
maybe people don't realize that, but media is all based on ads. Like, I mean, you don't pay to watch K2 News, so how else do you think I'm getting paid? The salespeople selling the ads in the commercial breaks of the news, and that's where our revenue comes from. In case anybody didn't realize
Yeah.
that's how it works, but that's why the news is free. That's why you go on TikTok or Instagram, and nobody has to pay you to see your content there. So how are you going to get paid?
Exactly. And especially right now where like 15% of people say that they'll pay for news at any level. So even that
Right?
like
That's not enough.
$10 online access, like that's such a small
No.
percentage of our population that's going to be informed
Yeah.
with what's happening.
Like that is not going to keep journalism going. Like that's not gonna cut it.
Absolutely. So you've been in the industry outside of college for over a decade.
Yeah,
How
13 years.
what's the evolution look like from in the last 13 years? Then maybe we can kind of like, all right, what
Yeah.
are some of like trends of like where this is headed maybe?
Yeah, just in the industry as like a whole, what I've seen. Definitely like the overarching thing is, which is probably obvious to a lot of people, is the move to more digital. Digital is such a bigger part. I'm trying to even think like I don't even think we had a web team at my first station. I just for context, I started a very small station in Coos Bay where, we barely had anything. And then I was in Eugene at KVAL, which was more of a normal news station, and then at K2. But I think even in Eugene, I want to say we didn't even have I could be totally wrong. We may
Yeah,
have had
yeah.
like one web person.
Okay.
I think it was like one person who did our web or two people. It was a very small thing. And it was kind of like an afterthought. It was like, we're going to throw all of our resources, all of our attention into the TV story, the package that you're going to shoot and edit and report and then put on the news. And then the web would be like, oh, write your web story right before you leave work, right? Bust it out in 10
Yeah.
minutes, get it on the web. Okay, now you go home. Now we like our web team is huge. We got multiple people who are really good at what they do. Our morning meeting, we pitch stories, and after each pitch it's like, okay, well, what's the web strategy gonna look like, what's the digital strategy gonna look like? And they actually have assignments throughout the day of like, okay, you're gonna post a vertical video of a preview of your story, whatever you found out so far, then you're gonna post this on Facebook and tease toward this. And yeah, it's a much bigger part. I mean, to be honest, I'm looking at it like that's where it's gonna go. Like
Yeah.
TV is less of a thing. It's almost like you may not even see the story if it only airs on TV,
Yeah.
right? You got to get it on the web, or there's probably a lot of people who aren't even going to see it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
feel like right now, like people are not going to go search for information. Like they're waiting for the information to find them
yeah,
as they're already scrolling on Instagram.
as they're on Instagram and TikTok, so they want
Yeah,
it on Instagram and TikTok.
and I think that
Yeah.
means that like media companies are going to have to learn how to monetize that attention because
Mm-hmm.
it currently doesn't work with any of their models, right? Like I don't know if I've seen any like Oregonian or KT like ever do like a sponsored anything on Instagram. I could have just missed it, but maybe that's
I don't know. Yeah, that's something I have no idea. I don't think I've seen us have any sponsored posts, but I could be totally wrong.
because I think the like newspapers they'll be like click the link in the bio to read the full story, and people aren't going to do that. Like the people that are on Instagram, like they want the information there. Even me with like a free newsletter that you can subscribe
Hmm.
to, and it has like deeper dives on a lot of topics. Like people don't normally click on that link. They just want like to see it on Instagram where they already are. And so I've learned that like my newsletter readers are a different audience than my Instagram
Hmm.
subscribers, and I just kind of have to treat them differently. I can't expect people on Instagram to subscribe or to go anywhere other than be on Instagram.
Yeah. And I don't really know what I mean the solution or the strategy going forward, to be honest, is like way over my head. That is
Yeah, for
way
sure.
past my pay grade.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure there's people up in our corporation who like know, or they have a strategy, or they see trends, and they have like a thing mapped out of where we're going. But for me, I'm just like, I don't even know.
no, for sure. And yeah,
I just do what the web like, they are the experts. They just tell
yeah,
us what we should do, and then I'm like, okay. I mean, I have definitely, like, I am actually in a program at KATU. There's just two of us who are in this like incubator program for social media. So they recognize that I just posted on Instagram because I it was fun and I liked it, and I was doing fun cool things at
yeah.
work that were actually getting attention and likes. So they picked me as one of them. um so what's interesting about that is they weren't really even interested in me boosting my posts on like news stories. It was more like, what waterfall did I go to this weekend, or like what restaurant did I just try. It's
Yeah.
like they're trying to get news personalities, journalists, to like really build our brand just on Instagram, on TikTok especially. um which I think is like a really interesting development, because if you had told me this probably 10 years ago, I'd be like, work is actually wanting me to make a reel about
For sure.
swimming in Crater Lake. Like,
Yeah,
but it makes sense because I'm
yeah.
like, people are gonna click on that and they're gonna want it. And then I guess if they get to know me as who I am, when I'm not at work, then maybe that helps the journalist brand of them trusting me, and knowing that like I'm just a normal person who's just telling you what it is and I don't have an agenda.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe that's part of the strategy, but it's also just bringing in views and bringing in followers by like being just like a content creator, which is very
Absolutely.
strange for me as a
Because
journalist.
that's not what you studied at all. Like you didn't
No, it's
study
not
media.
what I thought I'd be doing at
Yeah,
work.
yeah. It's just such a and it's just changing all the time. I think that's part of like what makes it challenging, especially at a big company, is like what works is constantly evolving, and
It
so
is
like
constant. I will tell you that it is constantly changing. We had, oh yeah, back to like the evolution. So like in Eugene, I don't even know what the program was called, but they made us download this, I think a couple different apps over like different years. An app to like put video and music in, and they thought like that was gonna be the next thing. They had like the whole company learn how to use this thing. I probably posted like one video with that thing, and it
yeah,
obviously didn't take off.
yeah.
It obviously didn't go well because they never really pushed it after that. But we did
Hmm.
a whole like training on it. They brought in people to show us how to use it, and it became part of our day-to-day thing. And then it just was like, okay, no, this isn't really working. Let's scrap
Yeah,
that. Let's go to the next thing. So
for
we've
sure.
definitely tried different things over the years.
What are you seeing right now? Like when you think about them setting you up for
Hmm.
social media, because you had mentioned that like you'll do the news, but there also is like a different segment for Instagram. Like I guess just talk me through the flow of a story and how
Mm.
social
I
media is
mean,
evolving.
my job is so different now, where I'm not actually like a reporter anymore,
Yeah,
where I'm pitching a story and doing a story that day. And
yeah.
then like I haven't done that since last year.
Okay.
So that's my position's a little different. So I don't
Yeah.
have an answer for that.
Okay. What the social media? It seems like it is part of the strategy, and this isn't supposed
It
to be like a selling
it
social media
is.
portion. I'm just
I
curious.
will tell you though, that like because now with my new position with ARC, it is a lot. So I'm barely getting what I need to get done in the, 8 hours that I'm working. So I did have to ask my boss one time, like, do I prioritize this reel on this restaurant,
Yeah.
or do I prioritize like setting up a live interview for ARC tomorrow? And the social media thing was the last on the totem pole. It was kind of like, okay, if you have time, then you do it, but no, do everything else first. So it's not a priority, at least for my position. But who knows if it would eventually get to be one. But I know the reporters, so I guess I could probably talk about that. The like dayside reporters, they'll be out reporting on their story. They are, yeah, like required to post a certain thing, and they figure that out in the morning meeting,
Hmm.
whatever whatever is going to work best for the story. It's not always a video. Sometimes it's photos or just a web article, or something like that, or a poll. Um, they'll do that and they have to post that. But for me, and we used to, sorry, now I'm like going all over the place because
I
it's
love
been
it.
a lot of years,
This
but
is great. Yeah.
we did used to have like, you'd have like a mandate of like, oh, you have to tweet 3 times a day, or you have to post 2 Facebook posts a day, or you have to do, but we've gotten away from that. That's like, it's just an expectation that you are going to be posting every day. And they've gotten away from like giving you a number, or a limit. They're just, it's an expectation that you will be active on social media. And I know that they like in hiring and stuff, they definitely look for people. And it's definitely been like an issue if you're, an older person who just isn't into it and not doing it. Doesn't mean you're not going to have a job, but
Yeah.
it's definitely something that they try to encourage everybody to get on board with.
Yeah, it seems like things are just changing so fast that when you like had this thing you were good at for so long, and now like a lot of people I think are finding them in a place where like that skill isn't really valuable any longer in the marketplace, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have
It
to
kind of,
learn something new, which is hard sometimes.
yeah. I will say I've been thinking lately, it scares me a little bit. Just because, I've had this dream since I was in high school. And I always pictured, yeah, like TV news, that's what it is. And studied all of that. And now it's like, but I mean, are my skills gonna translate into where this goes? Like, am I really gonna be able to rise above and be successful? Or, because I feel like my gift is the TV thing and like just being comfortable doing it. Because a lot
Yeah,
of people, it freaks them out, and for whatever reason, I just like am fine with it. And I always felt like that was kind of my superpower.
yeah.
But if we don't have TV news anymore or things change drastically, then like, who am I? Like, I lose my whole
I
identity.
think that's like the constant question of getting older. Like this thing that like made me unique as I was young, and like now, and I don't know how old you are. I'm older than you are, so I'm not calling you old.
35.
Okay, so yeah, I'm older than you for sure. But I think there is this like struggle as you get older, and especially in an industry like this that's evolving so quickly. Like, okay, where is my place? Because I'm not that like up and comer like that I
Yeah.
was. You know what I mean? Like now I'm kind of the person that is established. People are asking for me advice. I'm the one getting asked to be
Hmm.
on podcasts, right? And,
I know, who would have thought?
right? And there is this like, all right, how do I stay relevant? But I
Yes.
think at the same time, like just reminding yourself, okay, like what are the things that I'm doing? Am I like building relationships? Am I still looking at ways to get better and finding new ways to like try new things and expand my skill set? And I think the people that do that are going to be just fine. I think the people that
Totally.
are really like, nope, this is what I'm doing, and are very rigid are going to struggle because of how fast things are changing.
Yeah. And I hope I can. It's so funny you say that, and about aging too, because I'm currently turning 35. This past May put me into like a midlife crisis where I'm just like, yeah, well, I'm getting old
It's like every
now.
5 years is like a crisis moment because you're in like a different bracket depending on the age surveys. So I remember
Oh, yeah.
when I was 35, I loved 25 to 35. Like, yeah, I'm still, but I
Yeah.
hated the 30 to 40 because like, no, I'm not ready to be there yet. I think
No.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's weird. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. But like it is kind of scary when you're talking about like being not being like young, because I'm young, but like I'm not early, and yeah, I'm not new anymore. I'm not that young, so I have to be a good example for the younger people coming in, and I can't be like like an old curmudgeon. I mean, I'm not there yet, but there are people like that in the business, right? Like people have been doing it forever, and they really do refuse to change or to do anything new. And they do get, kind of pushed out because you need to be able to adapt. Oh, this is what I was going to say. It is funny because there are still, as much as everything has changed, the whole message of being adaptable and being willing and open and happy to change and learn and evolve has always been the talking point in journalism. Because when I was in college, that was like one of the big things they'd hammer into us is things will change, things will be uncomfortable. You may get used to something and then it's different, or you're moving to a brand new place and figuring out this whole new life, and you just have to like be okay with it. Like that is what you're getting into. So that was hammered into us then. I just don't know if I if I understood or anybody understood like how much and how quickly and
Yeah, how
how
could
quickly
we
everything would
have?
start changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So I
don't.
remember at U of O, this was like 2004, 2005. Somebody came and did like a presentation on tablets, like before iPads came out, and they were talking about like you'll be able to get your news here, and like it'll be
Huh.
videos. And so I remember being in a journalism class, and like the question became like, well, how does this impact us, and like as people who are wanting to work in the news industry? And there wasn't really a clear answer because we didn't know like how it was going to evolve. But to be here, 18 years later or whatever, and to be like, okay, like people just like have a phone and are just like creating content without any sort of newsroom involved with this. Like there's no way we could have predicted it. And now it just makes me wonder, like AI is here. Like what does this look like
Mm,
5, 10 years from now? Like we don't have any way to like understand what that's going to be like. Cause
I know.
it's just getting, it's changing so fast.
Oh, and the fact you just mentioned AI, like I have like an involuntary reaction to it because it scares me so much. It terrifies me. And I so want, this is funny because what a great example where I'm going against what I know I should be doing. I so want to just bury my head in the sand and be like, no, 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 I don't want anything to do with AI. It's terrible. It's scary. I hate it. I just want everything to be authentic. I want to write my own words and my own voice. I don't need anybody. I don't need a computer to help me. Like, right? That's what writing is. That's what journalism is, and creativity. It's supposed to come out of yourself
Yeah.
and your own experiences. So it kind of pisses me off that like AI is a thing, but it is, right? So I can't put my head in the sand. I have to use it. I have to adapt. I have to find out how I can use it for good and to my advantage without feeling like I'm sacrificing the authenticity of my own voice.
Yeah.
It's scary though because there are programs like you can get AI to write you a headline for a news article and that is innocent enough. I don't think that's a horrible thing, but it I don't like it. Like I don't know, it makes me feel icky. It makes me feel bad that like you should be hired to a station or somewhere because of how you write and your creativity and your brain and that sort of stuff. But like if I can just tell AI to write me a headline, to grab people in, then like I then anybody can do it.
Yeah. I think it's
And
hard
that's freaking
because
terrifying.
like so many people develop that skill, right? Learning how
Yeah.
to write an effective headline.
Yes.
And
It's
now
not
AI
easy.
has
Yeah.
just like learned how to do it for you by stealing
Mhm.
so many people's like stealing headlines, right? They never were given permission to like use this
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the right word here, but now they can just do
Uh
it for everybody because
yeah.
AI is smarter than the best headline writers essentially.
Yeah, and I will say like I've used it and when you use it and you see what it comes up with, you're like, "Well, shoot.
Yep,
That was
that's
pretty
it.
good.
Yep, exactly. Like, give me
I'm going to
five
use that."
examples. Like, three of them are better than anything I could have come up with.
Right? Yeah, I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's much better than the title I was writing." But it just sucks because I think I could talk for days about it. Just the things that scare me about it.
yeah. But there is, it sounds like a little bit of, all right, like, I'm probably going to be using it because it's a tool.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it does seem like the things that are at risk um, are are pretty like terrifying in some
Mhm.
capacities. I think like so like on what's happening in Salem, like a couple of
Mhm.
times I posted like an image that's like clearly AI generated. I'm not trying to say that it's not. Like it
Yeah.
is. I think the captions are even like ChatGPT something. Like it's more like a meme, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't mean to be anything serious, but people like will light up my comments about like you should be supporting local artists and like don't use AI and talking about the dangers involved. And part of me recognizes, like, I understand what you're saying for sure, but the other
Mhm.
part of me is like, if this is what you're scared about with AI, I feel like you're missing the boat because, like, there are so many things that are much more
Mhm.
terrifying than artists not getting paid to like make this kind of
Yeah.
an image.
And I agree with that argument. I think like yes, like art and artists like yes, we should be using you and we should whatever. But AI is here and people are going to use it. And if you're going to stay with the times, if you're not going to get left behind, if you're going to live in this world, then you have to use it. And yeah, like you said, like you're using it in a harmless way. Um God, I don't know if I should shout out this person, but I do know, like, there's a realtor who's doing like the emo realtor stuff, and like he makes these amazing videos, but they're all
Yeah.
AI, but they're hilarious and they're
Yeah.
great. And there's no way he could have ever made those without AI. I mean, it's a full like film production,
Yeah.
and it's all fake,
Yeah.
but and that's fun and that's cool, but it's obviously very scary, especially in journalism when you're talking about fact and images, and especially when you're getting into images and videos and, you know, AI making people say things that they never said or look a
Hmm.
certain way. I mean, that's when it really starts to get dangerous.
Absolutely. I think like a comparison that we have in our generation, and maybe this is a little bit before you, but was when photography moved to digital photography,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that was before me.
there were so many photographers that were like, "We're never going to do this. This isn't real
Yeah.
photography." And then it became like, "All right, Photoshop." Like, nope, never going to use Photoshop because, but like, it just kind of becomes part of our culture because it's so
Hmm.
convenient and useful for different cases. Um, but I think, yeah, it's just anytime a new, I guess what I'm the point, anytime a new tool is introduced, there's always like this fear, and there are early adopters and the people who are just like, that's not the way it's supposed to be done. And then it's just interesting to see how over time it
Yeah.
becomes part of culture. So we'll see what happens with AI. But
Yeah, yeah, and I think I mean there's responsibility on a lot of sides, right? Like the companies who are making this or lawmakers or all the people at the top definitely need to be regulating this and they need to have some strict rules on it, but it's also very important for all the public to just be to have media literacy and to look at things critically. And like my mom will send me like a stupid AI videos which are hilarious and they're great, but I'm like, I don't even think she realizes it's not real, and that's not okay. Like
yes,
you got to make sure you're looking at stuff really closely, just because yeah, this could be a cute little puppy now, but tomorrow if you see a video of Donald Trump saying something he didn't say and it's AI, that's a problem.
for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to local media.
Yeah.
That was a great AI segment for sure. One of the most important elements of local media is its ability to keep people connected.
Hmm.
Somebody, I can't remember who said this, but the idea essentially is that like if you don't know the rules of a sport, like you're not going to play. And I think the same thing with the local community, where like if you don't know how the decisions made by city council
Hmm.
impact your life, like you're not going to really be that interested. If you don't
Yeah.
know what the work the nonprofits are doing or what new businesses popping up, like you're probably just not going to be involved because you just don't know, don't
Hmm.
understand. Curious your thoughts on just like media telling stories and community and how they all are intertwined and work together.
Well, you should, I mean, as a citizen of the world, the country, your state, and your city, you should be aware of what's going on. I mean, what we're talking about in the news and the media is stuff that affects you. It's either about a law that's being passed, it's about a fee that's going up, it's about, oh, if this transportation bill doesn't pass, your potholes aren't going to get filled and you're going to have to bring your car to the repair shop. Like, I mean, it's stuff that affects you. So you kind of you have to be responsible enough and take it upon yourself, I think, to be a consumer of news and be involved so that you do know what's going on. I mean, you can't really like hide under a rock anymore. I mean maybe some people can. But yeah, I think it's on the community. It's on the individual people, I think, to take on that responsibility of making sure that they are paying attention. And because the news is on for free. You don't have to pay for it. You can turn us on anytime and learn about your community and learn about what's happening in the country and the world. And but it's up to you to consume that and to consume the news that is factual and is not gonna be propaganda, or that you have to understand who you're watching and listening to and what their agenda is. But yeah, I mean new I mean just for the yeah, I think news is essential for community building, and especially what I used to do, like the feature reporting stuff. I mean, the reason I did that, I would go out and be live somewhere to let you know, like, hey, this little town is hosting this big festival. Come and support. Come bring your money to this little town. They want you here. Come meet new people. And I think local news is a great resource for all that stuff. I always thought it kind of got annoying toward the end, but I used to do a segment on K2 called Things to Do. and I would just pick, and I personally picked them. I would just like
Yeah.
look all around the calendars or things I knew that I was going to. And I'd give you 3 or 4 things that you could do that weekend. And I'd be like out in public and I'd have people come up to me and say how much they loved that segment. And it shocked me. I didn't think it was valuable. I thought sometimes it was a waste of my time late on a Friday when I
Yeah.
just wanted to get home.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was one of the biggest things that people like told me that they loved, and now that I'm not doing it anymore, that they miss because it helped them get out there and enjoy their community and meet people. So yeah, I think it's definitely valuable for that. So that was a very long answer.
No, I love it. I love it. You're preaching to the choir for sure. And I think sometimes people forget, like, media plays that role. Like, local news plays that role in keeping people together.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, hey, this person that's doing this great thing, and you just know about it, and hopefully it'll encourage other people to kind of do similar things. But then also just like, here's a place you can go to meet other people in your city. Because people are so lonely right now. Like, isolation's a thing. Like, you don't have to leave your house if you don't want to.
Yeah.
And I think
It's so
sometimes people
bad.
discredit the impact that an effective local media, someone telling local stories in the community, has on just like bringing people together.
And I hope, and if you are somebody who is staying home alone a lot, I mean, I hope that you also like can feel a connection to us on the news. I mean, that's honestly probably my favorite thing that I ever hear from people. I meet people in public and they feel like they know me and we're already friends, even though I have no idea who they are.
Yeah,
But I love that. Um, because I feel like I am just myself on TV. I feel like I am. So I'm like, you do genuinely know me and you like me, and that's great. And you feel like we're connected and you're at home alone, maybe lonely, maybe you woke up in a bad mood or you're not, things aren't going great. Life is freaking hard. But if I come on the TV and that cheers you up or it makes you feel like you're not alone, like that is the goal of my life. Like I'm happy.
I've never thought of this before, but it would be really interesting to see the impact of somebody who was just like locked into national like TV
Uh,
versus somebody that's
uh-huh.
watching like local programming only, and like how does that impact their mood, their mental health, their ability to feel connected and not
Yeah.
isolated. I feel like it would be a very drastic difference, and I'm not sure anybody's ever done that type of a research, but that'd be interesting.
Really? Yeah, that's a great point. I love that. I love that. And it really does, I think that would highlight the importance of local news because really local news is so critical and just to like I don't even know if I've mentioned this yet, but like, there's so much hate for media. I get it. I totally get it. People hate it, but I think most of their frustration and their criticism is because of national media.
Yeah,
And like, I'm just this girl who lives in Portland who's lived here for almost 10 years and loves it. And I love reporting on the stories of our region. And like, that's me. And I live here and it affects me too. Whereas, like, you're watching national program, yeah, that's so far away from you. A lot of those programs now also, you can tell they have a bias.
for
They are
sure.
going to tell you things to make you think a certain way. But local news, my whole newsroom is just a bunch of different people who may be from all over the country who moved to Portland. They may be from this. We actually do have a lot of people who are from Oregon and from Southwest Washington, but we're all just like individual people there doing our jobs, trying our hardest to bring you the accurate, real news that affects you and us. And that's a very different thing than the national news programs that you're watching. So I just hope people know that there is a very big difference.
Yes, yes. I remember so when I was in school, like there was a certain station that really was like the station I think led the way on like being biased in the media and like showing how it's an effective news model. And I think that they just like were just capturing so much attention that I felt like everybody else kind of followed them. I was like, all right, well, we have to do this as well. And so you saw like different camps kind of break out. But it's just unfortunate. You can't just like turn on the TV and hear someone just explain what happened. There's always this like angle because
Yeah.
people do want to tune into information that's
Yeah.
aligned with how they see the world and aren't always as interested in being challenged, which is
Yeah.
just unfortunate.
And I'm glad you said challenge because I was just gonna say too, like if you are consuming news where everything you're seeing and hearing is like, oh yeah, yes, that's for me. I agree. Yes, yes, yes. And none of it is an opposing view or none of it is making you think more critically about something, then I think you need to reevaluate what you're looking at and what news you're consuming because you shouldn't, don't be in an echo chamber. That's why
Yes.
we're in a lot of the issues we're in right now. It's because people are sitting in echo chambers and they're not diversifying where they get their information. Yeah. I feel like I can't talk too much about all that or I'm gonna go
I
off.
know. Yeah, yeah. It's one of
I
those
also
like
have to be really
it's
careful.
like a fuse like burning slowly, and then all right,
I
here's
know.
what's going on. What's the I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore.
I
Do you know what movie that is? Even what I'm
don't
talking
know.
about? It was before my time even, but it's one of those movies. Tell me about like your dream position. If you think about like if everything worked out perfect, here's what I'd be doing, and maybe it's not even in local media, so that's okay.
Well, yeah, okay. So if I had to have a job, is that what you're asking? Because if I didn't have to have a job, I wouldn't have a job. But I mean, God, I never even like say this out loud because it's such a far-reaching dream that I don't even think I'm really gonna try to pursue. But like a national, even though I'm hating on national news, like being on, like an anchor on the Today Show or Good Morning America, being that like morning person who gets to wake everybody up, that would be awesome. That's like the ultimate dream just because, all the
Yeah,
money and the fame and the travel and everybody you get to meet and the stories you get to do
for
because of it.
sure. Yeah,
But I really do think that what I think I'm going to end up doing and what I think I'm most passionate about doing is just continuing to be that person in the community. And it could continue to be Portland because I'm just obsessed with the
yeah,
Pacific Northwest. Um, I just like being that person that everybody can like wake up and me and it's comfortable and you trust me and I can bring you what you need to know and make you feel not alone and maybe lift you up a little bit. So that would maybe just be me moving more into like a main anchor role.
yeah.
Because I'm not quite there yet.
Okay,
I'm kind of like the B team at
okay.
this point, but I would hope to eventually, and I'm sure like that's an attainable goal for me. I think that's what I would like to do because as cool as like being on the Today Show or GMA would
Yeah,
be, I still really do love the idea of like waking up in a community every morning that I am in and working for that community. Like
yeah.
I've just,
Sounds
especially
like
being
you're. It
here,
sounds
it's
like you're
been great.
talking yourself into settling for like the thing that's not quite your dream. To be
Is that
honest,
what it sounds
it
like I'm
sounds like
doing?
a little bit, a little
You
bit.
may,
So
hey,
let's focus on the big ambitious goal.
you
I'm
may have
curious about
cracked
this
it.
one. So the
Yep.
big ambitious goal, being on like Good Morning America or something similar. What's the career path for a journalist to get to that type of role? Do you just like get plucked from the crowd
I don't
essentially,
even
or
know. This is
yeah?
why I talk about it like it's not going to happen.
Okay, there you go. Just
You
turning
would
into
tip
a coaching conversation right
Yeah,
now.
you would
Really.
typically get an agent, and I have an agent. But who knows if they could even get me that job. But yeah, I think it's like a lot of that is knowing people
Yeah,
is what I've heard. Is you kind of have to like, and you have to push really hard to like meet people and network and get in those right circles to really get up to that point. But I couldn't like, let's say at this point, if I really was to go and do that, I would have to start out like as a correspondent. So you'd then be traveling everywhere. You'd be a reporter where they'd send you all over the country and you do a different like reporter story every day.
I feel like
And
if
you'd
you
have
like
to work your
blew
way up.
up on TikTok or you blew up on Instagram, you know what I mean? And then like you have this following you're bringing with you and you have the experience of like being a journalism. I feel like that's like the cheat code, to, like get around all the other people who are playing this other game with agents and stuff. But you have an agent also who can help out in that capacity, right?
Yeah, but it's funny you said that because I almost feel like that is one of the changes I was going to say is I do feel like it's a lot easier than when I started in journalism honestly to like get a job in journalism. I had to start in a market that was so small it didn't even have a number. And at this point if I graduated today, I could definitely start somewhere higher, right? So it's just you're starting up higher, hiring people with more like a diverse background. Like maybe you don't necessarily have to have a journalism degree anymore. Maybe it is someone who just like has been really good at TikTok and Instagram and they have a presence and people are drawn to them and they already have a huge following.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could totally see an ABC, yeah, national NBC, something like that hiring somebody like that now.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the big changes. You don't have to, yeah, necessarily have all these like credentials and the family name or something like that. I think it is easier to break into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I also
Interesting.
don't know. It does
Yeah.
seem kind of like this like far away thing that you like really have to leap to that I don't really even understand how
Yeah.
it works.
There you go. That was a fun coaching conversation. 5 minutes quick. I'm gonna force you to follow your dreams. You have no choice
No,
now. You
no,
have
it's
no
too
choice.
scary. I don't want to. Just want to stay here in my safe little
Yeah.
Portland bubble
Yeah. But also I think like
forever.
you've built a good career for yourself. You're doing things that a lot of people, have dreamed of doing and probably were not didn't have the courage or to take steps towards.
Thank you. And that means a lot because I do kind of, and I already kind of felt like this, I will say, like 10 years ago, even. Like, I just felt like getting into this business, like, even just pursuing it because it's scary. Like, you have to make a reel, you have to put yourself out there. Not, it's a kind of a secretive business on how to like really get into it. I think just the fact that I got the job and I've gotten to a city and a job and a position in a place that like I actually do truly love and I could see myself just doing forever. To me, I'm like, I've done it. If it all went away, I'd be happy. I feel successful. I followed my dream. I succeeded. To me, it feels like success and I'm good. So like whatever happens after this is just me like fulfilling, I don't know, just having an awesome life.
I
And
love
and
it.
I will say I think part of my like hesitation of really saying like, "Oh yeah, I want to go be a national news person" is I do value my just life. Like I used to be where, I lived to work. And now I think maybe like turning 35 and getting a little bit older, now I'm moving a little bit more towards the valuing my free time and everything outside of the job. And if you go to like a certain level, the higher you get, it's just like the less privacy you have, the less
Hmm.
freedom you have to do and be who you want to be.
Yeah.
I'm not like a super traditional person. So, you kind of worry about like, could I really be myself if I go up that high? Whereas right now in the position I have in Portland, Oregon, I can kind of be whoever I want to be.
I love it. And it's a big enough city too where I feel like you can kind of blend in when you want to.
Yeah.
You're not getting
Yeah. I
called
mean, I
out.
think you'd be surprised. Like, I always think people ask me, like, all the time, oh, do people like come up to you or they recognize you? And I think it doesn't happen as much as people would think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can still kind of go around incognito.
There you go. Is it weird being on the other side? Like you're the one having all the questions asked of them?
Not really.
Okay.
No, because you're good. No, because you're like, and you're making it kind of feel like a conversation. And
Okay,
I
cool.
just like
I
talking a
struggle with
lot
this
anyway.
sometimes. Like asking questions is definitely my comfort zone. And so when
Uh-huh.
I'm on the other side sometimes it's like, what do I do with my hands? But like, yeah, just curious.
Yeah, honestly, it feels okay. The only thing I worry about is I am definitely a TMI person. Like I am an open book. And
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't tell you this, but yeah, if you just keep asking me questions, there's gonna come a point where I probably say things I should not say.
We'll use that as a clip for sure. The thing that you didn't want to say, that's what we'll post all over the place. But
I
no,
know, I gotta be
that's
careful.
yeah. I think I feel like the long form like podcast you'd be great at because of that. Like you're just
I would love to. I wish I could tell you my real idea for a podcast that I really want to do, but I can't publish.
it's
I can tell you off this
okay,
podcast.
okay.
But I
NDA.
do, it would be so fun.
Is it
But I
because like you
wouldn't.
don't want someone to steal the idea, or because like you just can't because you have an agreement with
Oh,
somebody?
I wouldn't be able to have my job.
Oh, okay, okay,
I probably wouldn't.
okay,
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to work for a news organization, I think.
okay.
It would have to be something that I would have to do like after, or
Yeah.
if I quit or something and I didn't have like a corporation or an
Okay.
organization like, overseeing
Now I'm
everything.
really curious which direction this is headed. Okay, okay.
I'll tell you offline.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Awesome. Well, Wesley,
It's
you
really
should.
not that. It's not that
I
bad.
know. I'm like, where are we
Whatever
going
people
with
are
this?
thinking, I'm probably making it seem way
I'm
crazier
sure
than it
it's way
is.
worse.
I
Everybody's
just,
thinking things that are way worse than what it
but that's what I'm
actually
saying. I'm
is.
like, I like being a news person, it's difficult at times for me because like you have to hold your tongue and I have to be careful what I say. And that's not typically me in real life. Like when I'm off work, you'll know how
Yeah.
I feel.
That's hilarious. I feel like I don't know. Maybe I give this advice to a lot of people, but I feel like the internet is so powerful that you can just like be yourself and build a business
Hmm.
around it. But not everybody wants
Yeah.
to, and that's
And
fine
now
as
that I
well.
see that, that's what I'm saying. Like now that I see that, and I've seen podcasts come out where people are doing like stuff like that, I'm like, oh, like if I had known that back then, and I know that I have this gift of being able to talk to people, and I love interviewing people and
Yeah,
sitting down and having a conversation, like that's what I should have done.
yeah,
Really, because I'm not I'm not a stuffy person. Like that would have been a really fun thing. But not to say like what I'm doing now I love and it's
yeah,
great, and
for
I
sure.
love having the backing of a news organization because it gives you legitimacy and comfort, and like I know I'm going to get my paycheck next week. But but if I could go
And like
back,
health benefits, probably.
yes, and I
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
benefits, right? So that's great. And colleagues to work with and bounce ideas off of. I mean, we're always doing that. We're always working as a team. But I think there are also other things now in this age that we have that, like, if I were younger and starting out, I probably would have maybe gone a different direction.
Yeah, there you go.
Because
Hindsight's
anybody can be a journalist, apparently.
hindsight's all, I don't know, even me,
And
even I can do it.
but
But
there's still time, right? Like
for
I also
sure.
know that too. There's still
Yeah.
tons of time to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, I think there's always this like mentality of like, oh, if I would have known earlier, now that I'm this
Hmm.
age, I can't do it now that I'm this age, but you
That's not
can.
true.
You can.
Yeah.
You decide what you want to do with your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if all of my episodes are going to turn into like motivational life coaching. You can do it. And follow
You're
your
gonna like
dreams.
yeah, anybody who comes on the show, you're gonna like have them do a huge career change when they're done.
Yeah,
They're like,
for
oh no,
sure.
Jacob told me I needed to go chase my dream. I need to go do it.
Yeah. And like hopefully it works for everybody. That way nobody hates me, and that one person is like, I quit my job because of your podcast, and now it didn't work out.
I'm gonna sue you because you
Do
told me
it.
to quit my
I
job.
will risk that if you would follow. No, I'm joking. Your dreams are great, but I appreciate you so much, Wesley, being the first guest on the Media Shift
So
podcast.
cool.
This was a ton of fun, and I'm even more excited about this project after this first
Yay.
conversation. The second guest has big shoes to fill. Phil.
Yeah,
Yeah, you brought the energy, you brought the A
thank
game,
you.
overshared a couple times. That was
I definitely
awesome. We need more
did.
of it.
Don't get me fired, please.
That's gonna be the end of every podcast. Whoever I interview, like, just don't get me fired.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
seriously.
I appreciate you. And anybody that tuned into
Thank
the first
you.
episode, thank you as well. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. This was so fun.